this moving. It's Young People Nation.
Welcome to Young People Nation. Listen to us weekly as we commit to bring transparency, healing, and truth to the everyday situations in life that might bring you down. Join us for your weekly dose of inspiration. Thank you for listening to Young People Nation. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And now, here's your host, Eugene and Donna Perry.
Let's go. Christ is the foundation. Know his word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Giving the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross.
Okay, we're in session 2 with Dr. Poe. How you doing, ma'am?
I am doing quite well.
Now,
Feeling good.
Now, Dr. Poe is amazing in this community. Dr. Poe is very passionate about mental health and the disabled as being labeled disabled, but she like to expound on what they're able to do.
Yes.
So we welcome you back, Dr. Poe.
Thank you.
Now, if you did not listen to session 1, Dr. Poe has a 16-year tenure enriched in her role as a certified peer specialist parent with uniquely empathetic perspective. Now, Dr. Poe is the founder of Filling in the Gaps. Now, that's an organization committed to providing education, advocacy, and support for those grappling with mental health and challenges and disabilities. Now, again, she has children's books. She is traveling. We're grateful that we got a hold of her because she's getting ready to go because she is in high demand. So thank you, Dr. Oni.
Oni,
the
you
only
got it.
one,
Yes.
the only one, Dr. Oni Poe, for coming back with us.
Thank you.
Okay, so in session 2, we're going to be talking about the voice
Oh, yes.
of the disabled. Now, often, just like a parent, we're the voice for our children while they're growing up. And when they're having problems in school, we have to be the voice. Now, when we talk, you are the voice for a lot of people with disabilities. Let's talk about that.
Wow. As I heard you in the opening talking about the voice, I literally had an image in my mind of a person who is unable to speak physically. Like just was born mute or not able to speak.
Right.
And just what's in that person that needs to come out. All of us we weren't blessed with a voice. And I feel like what's important is what's on the inside of us to come out, however it comes out.
Yes.
Right? And I often say there are some of us who have something to say and we don't say it for whatever reason. Maybe we said it at one point and someone said, well, you shouldn't feel that way or you shouldn't think that way. And so we stop speaking. But there are others who don't have a voice in the sense of they don't know what to say.
Right.
They have this urgency in their heart and soul, and they have something that they want to say, but they just don't know how to articulate it. So when I think about voice, I think about all of those different dynamics of what it means to have a voice and why it's so important for those people who can be heard to speak up.
Yes.
And that where I'm at in my life right now, I recognize that having a voice that will speak and can be heard is a powerful thing because I can say what so many other people desire to say and are either unable to or unwilling to.
Okay.
So if I'm able and willing, then why not speak?
Yes.
And so that's what I feel about voice, because some people can't speak for themselves.
Right.
There are people that are hurting, there are people that are abused, there are people who have a desire and don't know how to bring that desire forth. And if I can help pull that out,
yes,
then I feel like that's one of the reasons why I was created.
Amen.
And I shared in the first session about having a speech impediment when I was younger. And I'm just not realizing the significance of that, because my mama would say that she would get so frustrated when she couldn't understand me because it would look like I had this, I'm going to use the word passion now. It may not have been passion then, but let's go with that word. Like what I was saying was so important,
yes,
and she couldn't understand me.
Yes.
And she was like, she knew that she had to get me some help to be able to articulate what I was saying.
Yes.
Because it was important.
Yes.
And now go from that young girl who had a voice then and I was speaking and couldn't be understood.
Yeah.
Now that I'm speaking and can be understood, you doggone right that I'm going to speak up and speak out and give a voice to the issues that I'm passionate about. And namely, that is talking about individuals with mental health challenges and those with disabilities.
That reminds us of, as you talk, I thought about Amber. You know, I think Amber was like
Yes.
2 years old, and it was kind of the same thing. She would be saying things, and I couldn't understand her when she was like 2. And we took her to a specialist and was able to get the help. But my oldest daughter understood exactly what she was saying.
Yes.
Yes. And I would be like, Amber, do you want water? And Amber be like, oh, you know, like,
Like you're frustrated.
Yeah.
Like, no,
Yeah.
that's not
that
it.
is not it. And so we took her to a specialist on Fort Gordon. We were
Yes.
there and was able to get her. And yes, she talks.
You really?
Yes, very expressive.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I think you just have to work with them. That reminds me when my son, when he was younger, he had he was not necessarily late developing, but his speech was kind of late developing. And he would speak, and I would know what he was saying because I
Okay.
just have that knack. But I would repeat back what he said, and he would be like, "No," you know. But he was
Right.
not able to pronounce certain sounds.
Yes.
Right.
So every time I would say it, he would say no. But he eventually was able to express himself.
Yes.
But, yeah.
But you know, in these situations like that, it takes 2 parents to be there, and I am a stiff advocate that men need to be there, and all you can contribute. It's nothing like a father being there and helping their child, whether it's a boy or girl.
True.
And it makes a difference. You make a difference, men. Quit running. Quit hiding. quit staying at work late at night. Your child needs you.
Yes.
And don't leave it all the times on the woman to
That is
do
so
that, or the grandmother to do that. Your effort is needed. No,
So very
if
needed.
nobody else would say that, you're gonna hear it from me.
Yes.
You need to have your butt there, helping out your wife with the children, because she is ran down to the ground and she has no more effort to give out.
Wow.
And then you, as the orchestrator of life, because it takes 2 people to have a child,
Right.
and it's no embarrassment, but that child needs you, and it needs your effort, needs your time, and needs your love.
That's true.
Yes. That was unscripted, guys. Okay, that came
Unrehearsed
straight from the
and
heart.
unscripted. That's the
it.
way I like to
Yeah,
flow.
that came
In the
straight
raw.
from the heart. You understand?
Yeah.
In the
Because
raw.
he is very passionate, and
Uh-huh.
I'm very grateful because he was that father that was
Okay.
very present, even with being in the military. The military is very demanding. Just talking to my team about that yesterday. However, we all make choices, and what I sense a lot of times with men, the shame. Okay, you are embarrassed that your child can't do what you watching on TV.
Right.
Okay. However, what we do see with a lot of children is they end up doing great things. Then you want to come on deck when the great things is happening.
Right.
No, and then no, because you weren't there for the process.
Exactly. You know, shame is something that I think is I won't say killing our community, killing our kids, but it's really handicapping. Shame is almost its own disability.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And because
yes.
when you were speaking, and then when you added, I was thinking about how we don't encourage children to go through a process of discovery. A lot of what we do as parents is we have these expectations that our child need to be able to do
Right.
this and that.
Yes.
We don't provide them with opportunities to just be.
Yes.
To just discover.
Yes.
You know, put something in front of them and don't tell them what to make with it.
Right.
But just see what they create.
Yes.
And then encourage them in that.
Yes.
You know, and a lot of times if you have this high bar, and it's nothing wrong with expectations and knowing that your child can do something.
Yes.
But it's also something wrong when you don't recognize that your child has something within them
Yes.
that
Right.
needs to be brought out.
Yes.
You know, I was talking to a friend earlier about an acorn. You know, an acorn grows into an oak.
Yes.
Right.
You know, and acorn grows into an oak. And an acorn, you know, an acorn, when you were speaking, and then when you added, I was thinking about how we don't want to encourage children to go through a process of discovery. A lot of what we do as parents is we have these expectations that our child need to be able to do this and that.
Yes.
But it has to be in the right environment and the right conditions.
Yes.
But it's already the oak.
Yes.
It just has to be born into that.
Yes.
So
Right.
our children are already something big. We're already something great from the time we're born. But we're not allowed to be to grow into that. And a lot of times shame is what prevents us from being great.
Yes,
Because
and-
we hide.
And that child feels that shame,
Yeah.
and then they get
They
silent.
minimize.
So, what's the danger of that unheard voice? Because we talked about that
Yes.
as well with a lot of our children acting out. That's those unheard voices.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes, I actually started a newsletter on LinkedIn called Voices Unheard.
I gotta give it you. Okay, go ahead.
And so I remember one night just thinking like, man, the unheard voice is oh God, it's so much. The problem with the unheard voice is that I think it's potential that's untapped.
Okay.
It's growth that is unplanted.
Okay.
You know, it's a seed that would never take root because it isn't coming forth.
Yes.
And, you know, when you think about a voice that's unheard, you don't really know what to do for a person. You don't really know how to support a person. But then that person never really, they can't actualize the potential that lies within them. You know, it's like some voices are unheard because they've been activated at one point and may have been silenced for whatever reason. You know, I don't want to take it here, but it reminds me of a conversation that I had with a young girl, and she was talking about a unfortunate situation that she was in, and someone put tape over her mouth. So she was unable to be heard because someone else in a position of power or a position of authority felt like she didn't need to be heard, so they silenced her. Right? But then there's a person who is mute. So you can be silent by choice. You could be silenced because someone took your voice away and prevented you from speaking. And you can be mute because you refuse to speak. So even when I talk about the voice that's unheard, I ask myself, why is it not heard? Is it not able to make sound, or is it not speaking? And if it's not speaking, then why? And that's the voice that I want to hear.
Okay.
That's the story that I want to know. That's what I think needs to be out. And
Wow.
so it's the unheard voice is a dangerous thing.
It is dangerous,
It's a
isn't it?
dangerous thing.
Oh.
I heard what y'all saying, but you also got to get his brother to blame. Keep blaming people for your mistakes. You got these men go out here with 10 different kids, and all of them got different baby mamas, and you blaming the mama for every deficiency that the kids have.
Right.
You have to take control of that and take responsibility in helping to bring these kids to a higher level instead of blaming the woman
That's
for
true.
everything that went wrong. We have
It's
too
so
much
true.
of that.
He got to get a platform for these men.
I know. 'Cause let me tell you, I have really had to hold back in several things you said, Mr. Perry. I wanted to comment as it related to men, and I said, oh no, I'll get down the rabbit hole. Let me talk about disabilities today.
No, it's not a rabbit hole. It's not a rabbit hole. The one thing about a man, you can't let him squirm out, because if he squirm out, he could do it again.
That's true. Yeah, I think men do need a platform.
Yes, that's important because
It really is.
as along our journey of being in the military, God always sent him men whose father was not there, or deceased, or never was there. That's been the
Or
men-
don't have an image in the house.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He is. That's
Wow.
always wherever we travel.
Uh-huh.
That's who gravitates to him.
Wow.
Because that's the passion. You hear the
Yeah, I
passion
do.
about men being present, fathers. Because even if you're not married, that's your child, and you need to be present.
Right.
Yeah, this don't show up on draft night saying, I'm,
All of a sudden, I'm your daddy, right?
I'm your daddy, and now you're going to make these millions of dollars, and you done went through all that ripping and running and being without him, and then you only see him on game night.
Wow.
You know, we talked about a person that's left-handed. That's a disability.
Right. You know, like we was talking, I never really thought about it as a disability, but until recently, because then I thought about that word you know, like what are they unable to do?
Okay.
And so I was talking with a friend, and she's left-handed.
Okay.
And I've been around her many times, and she was talking about the things that she disliked to do.
Okay,
right? So
okay.
Say what the word is.
Yes.
You know, and the reason that she disliked those things is because of her left hand and how difficult it is for her to navigate certain things. She was speaking specifically about using scissors.
Okay.
And she said that most scissors are designed for right-handed people.
They are.
And then she talked about cooking utensils.
Yes.
The door handle on the refrigerator.
Wow.
You know, just all of these things. Even she had me to get out a pen and look at a pen and how the writing is featured for a right-handed person.
Yes.
And so in that conversation, I thought back to my days in the classroom and teaching, and I thought about, wow, I've done a disservice, not intentionally, but just because I didn't key in on the fact that left-handed people need a different technique than right-handed people, and I can't teach them that.
Yes.
But just that's what put in my mind, you know, like the disability aspect of left-handedness. And now I need to do, I haven't done much research, but I want to do some research now on left-handedness and see what I can find about, you know, any kind of programs and process and all of that stuff that's out there for them, because I feel like they've been made to fit into a box of right-handedness. And I had never really thought about that until a few weeks ago.
I'm glad I'm both-handed now.
Yeah, he is. And our grandson, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah, our grandson. And as we're about to round up session 2, let me, you talked about the joy in our luncheon of once the voice is able to speak, what the joy that comes out of that. And you're like, wow, I didn't know you had all that in you, all that passion. Talk about that.
Wow. You know, imagine being in a space with somebody or with something and it's just sitting there like lifeless, right? And then creating an environment where it all of a sudden comes alive.
Yes.
That's what I think about when I hear that, and that's what I feel about a voice and the joy I get when someone can discover their words. You know,
Yes.
when you can hear something that was once mute or silent make noise for the first time. It's like, I want to hear more of that.
Yes.
You know, like, let me hear the song of your heart. Let me I worked once at a institution, well, not an institution, a facility with individuals with traumatic brain injury, and some of them had accidents and strokes and that sort of thing. And there was one lady who you could barely hear. She spoke in a whisper. Every whisper that I heard from her, I treasured it like gold, because she didn't speak much, you know, but when I could hear the utterance that came from within her, I felt like that's so powerful.
Yes.
You know, that's a gift.
Yes.
And I feel like that about the voice, you know, a lot of times people need to feel safe.
Yes.
They need to feel like the environment is conducive for them to show up. And I just bless God that that's one of the things that I'm able to do in my work, is to create that space for the voice to be heard.
Wow.
You know, to give voice to someone else's story. And I know this session is ending, but it reminds me of something I wrote one time. And one line said, "You don't have to tell me your story. I already know." So sometimes I'm around people and the things that they don't say, it's like I just get a download. Like I know what it is.
Yes.
And if I can speak to that, like if I could speak to something, if I just meet you and I could just say one word to speak to something so deeply within you that it resonates and it encourages you to speak,
Yes.
then that's a powerful thing.
It is, isn't it?
And that's something that I'm blessed that I'm able to do,
Yes.
to help other people discover their voice.
Yes. And encourage and build.
Encourage them.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is the end of session 2 about the voice of the diagnosed disabled. That's what I'm going to say. Okay.
I like
so,
that.
So, because your diagnosis doesn't define you.
Right.
Wow. I am enjoying this. Okay, so we always, again, like to give out these mental health hotlines, because when we get feedback about the podcast, they're like, I didn't even know that existed for help. So there's a 988 hotline. There's a text 741-741. That's free 24/7. The NAMI, which is National Alliance on Mental Illness, and you can go to their website and reach out to the state that you live in. And of course, the 211, which is a general community hotline, that's 24/7. And of course, if you don't remember any of this, there is 911. Mr. Perry.
Well, just keep in mind that the mental health of a disabled person is so important. And in it, my heart and mind are open to be judged. The question is, what do I want you to see? in those thoughts, in those times, those places, those demands of that person's life. I can be in a jail cell for thousands of years, and I am disabled. That's how you look at me. But inside, I am brilliant. This is the Young People Nation, and remember, there is always hope.
There's always hope.
Let's go. Christ is the foundation. Know His word gon' lead us. Know I'm already going. Taking steps I believe in. Giving guidance to the youth. Giving guidance to the lost. Give the world to the project. Lead them back to the cross. He the #1 prospect. He the top boss. I was broke, I was empty. He the one that paid the cost. Really thought that I was cool. There was nothing like the Savior. Now it's time for the truth. The whole world been waiting. It's Young People Nation. 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 The whole world been waiting. Whatever you going through, I know what He gonna do. Don't matter the circumstance, we going back to the root. Keep going. Let that seed keep growing. You need peace and we know it. Now it's time to live holy. Young People Nation. You know what time it is. Young People Nation. Get ready, the time is here. Get ready, we vibing here. We about to let God in here. Young People Nation. It's Young People Nation. Yeah, do it for the heavens, you know where we going. Influenced by His love, you know we gotta show it. It's time to put the youth onto what God is doing. Cause I can tell you now, right now, that God is moving. It's Young People Nation.